Hello friend, today we are going to discuss about Control Plan. This is first edition of Control Plan which published in 1st March 2024. Before that, Control Plan was published with APQP, means in APQP second edition, APQP requirement and Control Plan were requirement incorporated in same manual, and the APQP third edition means control plan requirements are separate and APQP requirements are separate in APQP third edition, which is also published in 1st March 2024. Means from third edition of APQP requirements are separate and control plan requirements are also separate. And APQP third edition also published in 1st March 2024 and Control Plan first edition also published in 1st March 2024. This is the actually manual of APQP second edition. In APQP second edition, advanced product quality planning and control plan both requirements are in second edition of APQP, which were published in July 2008. Now this is the APQP third edition. In APQP third edition, and only APQP requirement are mentioned, and control plan are now manuals requirement are separate. That is published in first edition of control plan. And APQP third edition also published in 1st March 2024. Now actually both requirement are now both manuals are separate, means APQP manual are separate and control plan requirement and manuals are separate. This is the control plan first edition, and in control plan first edition actually it is effective from 1st March 2024. APQP third edition and control plan reference manual replaces APQP and control plan second editions. Now the APQP and control plan second edition was split into separate manuals, and the coupling of the two will facilitate more timely update as system evolve. APQP and control plan are linked by the requirement in APQP, much like FMEA, SPC, MSA and PPAP. These link will continue again. Next, the remainder of this manual will focus on control plan and changes to other references that necessity update here the CP to remain relevant, such as new terminology and concept consist with IATF, AIAZ and VDA FMEA handbooks, and other Ford and GM and some core tool manuals remains relevant. And next requirement is that is the due diligence for CP is being strengthened, and to avoid pitfall from and known risk factors. Incorporation of lessons learned from past projects and problems. Application of CP are changing to meet demand imposed by her automation and ultimate autonomous driving. Addition of contents describing implementation of the actually the safe launch, enhanced control and containment measure applied to early stage of mass productions. Next, appropriate references to customer specifies provide without the full text, and supplier input were actively solicited and incorporated wherever possible. Next, what is the purpose of manual? Actually, the purpose of this manual is to communicate standardized best practices for developing, using and improving control plans. This manual provides guidelines designed to help produce standardized and effective product quality control plan which support the fulfillment of product or services that will satisfy the customer. Next purpose is to sum up the expected benefit in using these guidelines are to create a common language for control plan for the customer and organization to facilitate visualization and confirmation of appropriate product and process control throughout the supply chain, especially control related to special characteristics. And next purpose is this APQP, this control plan manual is, first is control plan is listed as output of APQP in the following cases, that is product design and development, process design and development, product and process validation, that was the actually prototype, pre-launch and production control plans. In production and actually the safe launch control plan period started from the pre-launch control plan and till early stage of production control plan. Control plan through the product life cycle. Early in the product life cycle, its primary purpose is to document and communicate the initial plan for process and product control. Subsequently, it guides manufacturing in how to control the process and ensure product quality. Control plan methodology. The purpose of this control plan methodology is to aid in the manufacturing of quality products according to customer requirement. The methodology is applicable to a wide range of manufacturing process and technologies. Control plan actually provides a written summary description of the system used in minimize process and product variation. This is the control plan methodology actually. Control plan in methodology, in effect, the control plan describe the actions that are required at each step of the process, including receiving, in process, outgoing and periodic requirement to assure that all process output will be the state of control. Next is control plan in overall quality process. The control plan is an integral part of an overall quality process and is to be utilized as a living document. Means it is live document that evolving to incorporated improvements and lesson learned as they occur. In case of any customer complaint, any problems in-house, customer or interested party, control plan will update it. Means therefore the control plan is updated to reflect the latest measurement and control methods, like process parameter setting and specification defined in other documents such as FMEA, work instruction, assembly instruction drawing, and every time a change occurs, means if any changes is occur, control plan will update it. This is the manual structure of control plan. First chapter of control plan is control plan requirement and guideline. Second chapter of control plan is, that is control plan development, and third chapter is control plan phases, means prototype, pre-launch and production type. And chapter 4 is how to effective use of control plans. Chapter first explain the control plan requirements and guideline. In chapter first point is control plan format. What is the format of control plan actually? The format of the control plan is not important as information contained within. However, care should be taken to use a format is easy to understand and confirm implementation of item on control plan. What is the requirement of control plan format? Any control plan format used must contain at a minimum the same information as described in chapter 2 control plan development. Whenever we learn about chapter 2, we got these answers. What are the guidelines of control plan format? Using the format in this manual is recommended, but if you choose a different format, columns should be grouped logically for ease of understanding. For example, group column related to methodology, means method, together is a specification, tolerance, evaluation, measurement, technique, sampling control, and additional column may be added if desired. Dynamic control plan, that is a single document combining a PFMEA and control plan, may be used as long as control plan portion included. At a minimum, the same information I described in chapter 2 also. Second is, what are the special characteristics in control plan format? Actually, the special characteristic are product and process characteristic also that may impact governmental regulatory safety other aspect of the part demanded to require special attention and treatment. What is a special characteristic? Actually, a special characteristic must indicate the special characteristic classification and column of the control plan. If a special characteristic is identified by the customer, the organization must be appropriate classification required by the customer. The use of organization designated classification is allowed if the customer agrees and there is a documentation such as correlation matrix to linkage the customer designations. In a special characteristic, following terms should learn. First is the what are the government regulatory requirement were included in safety requirement, fit functions requirement, and form requirements, etc. And next is performance, means what are the performance requirement. These parameters should be considered in a special characteristic requirement. What are the pass-through characteristic? Means PTC. PTC actually are part characteristic manufactured within the supplier process and used in organization process without modification or further validation. Actually, PTC are not controlled or functions tested by the organization and would have significant impact on their customers, such as customer processing problem and field warranty issues. PTC are ultimately supplied to an OEM customer. Therefore, the organization must ensure there is adequate control of characteristics at the supplier. The supplier process where PTC is the last control or functionally tested in the last point of control. What are the requirements in PTC? Actually, organization must identify any characteristic meeting the definition of pass-through characteristic from this manual as agreed upon their customer. Organization must have a process to validate the effective of the supplier control. Based on validation result, the organization must decide appropriate control method from the organization and the customer point of view. Next is organization must document all pass-through characteristic and control method at the last point of control for each PTC. This document must be reviewed with the appropriate customer representatives for agreement and control plan of the PTC period to or concurrent with pre-launch control plan review and approval. If the organization uses receiving inspection based on sampling such as a lot certification to ensure quality of PTC, it must be included on organization control plan. Next is error proofing confirmation. As per AIAG APQP manual, as error proofing included, those designated as mistake proofing is required. What is the requirement of error proofing? Error proofing devices must be listed in control plan. The method and frequency to confirm effectiveness or proper functioning of error proofing devices must be included in control plan. Next requirement is frequency of error proofing devices verification must be based on the ability to enable effective containment of product produced since the last good verification result. Master defect sample, which is also known as red rapids. Master defect sample, that is known as red rapids, should be maintained and managed to ensure they are up to date and functional as designed. Master defect sample must be clearly identified and managed to prevent mixing with production part or use of other processes. Next requirement of control plan is families of control plan. What is the family of control plan? Family of control plan are control plan for multiple part, means multiple parts where the parts are substantially similar in application, design, manufacturing requirement and specification. Means if a part is manufacturing on same machines or similar type of machines, similar type of design, similar type of manufacturing requirement, specification and that part, and looking also similar, that parts are we can made a family of control plan. Means for that we can make a family of control plan if there is similar in application, their design, manufacturing requirement and specification are almost similar. Okay, for that part we can make family of control plan and family of FMEA. The organization must listed all requirement individual part number covered by the family control plan. This is the requirement. If number of individual part number is too great to include in field 3, then the organization may refer to separate document that indicate all part covered by the family control plan. Means all part numbers should be covered. It can be a separate document or can be mentions in that control plan. It means in family of control plan. If length is more, means part number is too large, then we can make a separate document that indicate that all part number are covered by family control plan. Next requirement is family control plan may only be applied when all parts associated with a family control plan are run on the same manufacturing line or equipment, or when multiple lines utilize the same make and model of equipment or similar equipment with identical control specified on family control plan and process flow charts. Next requirement is interdependent process and control plans. In some cases, process may be interdependent, meaning they are separate but linked somehow. An example could be the process of receiving inspection for a metal or component that is later used in more than manufacturing process or to make more than one type of part. Actually, the same receiving inspection process is a precursor to following processes. Another example is machining part used to machine as an item that is later used in more than one process to make various parts. That is the interdependent process. Means process is dependent on other process. That what are the requirement in interdependent process? Control plan must exist for all processes used to manufacture a given part. Next requirement, either list of all steps involved to produce a part on that parts control plan to make a separate control plan for the interdependent process and link that control plan to the subjected parts control plan. Next requirement is rework and repair processes. What are the rework process and what are the repair processes? Actually, rework, including reuse of component if allowed, is planned included in the production control plan. Corrects the non-conformance to meet original specification, that is rework. Means we need to correct the non-conformance part to meet original specification, that is rework, and is approved by the customer during review and approval of the production control plan. What is the repair? Actually, repair is remediation that satisfies the customer fitness for use criteria. Means repair required a control plan for the proposed remediation and customer approval. Fitness for use is a decision by the customer that any deviation from the specification due to the repair will have no impact on the satisfactory performance of the products. What are the requirement of repair and rework? First requirement is actually, what are the requirement? First requirement is organization must review the customer specific requirements or customer statement of requirement regarding acceptability of any rework or repair process. Prior to initiating any rework repair activity must consult the customer as early as possible in the planning stage. Okay. Next is reaction plan detail. Reaction plan actually specify not just corrective action necessary, but also who is responsible for that reactions, means for that action taken, who is going to responsible is most important. In all cases, subject and non-conforming product must be clearly identified and quarantined, and dispositions may be responsible person designated in the reaction plan. What is the requirement of reaction plan? In reaction plan, area of control plan must indicate a specific action taken or refer to a specific document or system instructions that listed the specific action to be taken in case of out of control or out of specifications. Next is requirement. What are the requirement in reaction plan? Reaction plan area of control plan must indicate the individual by title, role responsible to implement action specified, or reference to document that included the details including responsible owner of the actions, who are responsible for this action. Next is 100% visual inspections. Actually, in some processes really on 100% visual inspection which may be done by operators. Regardless of the nature, reliance on 100% visual inspection introduce risk of error or misinterpretation in the inspections. What are the requirement of 100% inspection actually? If 100% visual inspections, in the method used, the control plan must include a periodic verification of visual inspections such as sampling audit by qualified auditors, offline measurement to verify judgment are similar. The periodic verification described above must indicate the responsible for the verification. Earlier, by adding a column to responsible for verification, either by adding a column to indicate responsible person who are going to verify it, who are going to responsible for that audit, sampling audits in 100% inspections. Next is black box processes. What is the black box processes? Actually, black box processes, in some cases the organization may not want to provide the customer document control plan for processes which they feel are proprietary or represent a unique competitive advantages. In such cases, sometimes referred to as black box processes, the organization and their customer negotiate an acceptable solutions. What are the requirement of black box processes? Control plan must exist that meet the requirement of this manual. Any deviation from normal customer review and approval of control plan must be documented with agreed from the customer. At a minimum, the control plan must be available for review by the customer either in person or in secure virtual environment. Next requirement is non-design responsible organizations. The organization, in some cases, the organization which is not responsible for design activities. In some cases, the organization is not design responsible, means the organization may not have ready access to DFMEA result, including a special characteristic that may require action on control plan to ensure performance to design specification. What is the requirement of non-design responsible organization? The organization and customer must have a process to cascade DFMEA. At least actually they are not responsible for design, but need to DFMEA, need to develop a process to cascade the DFMEA. Next is, or at least a special characteristic detail from design responsible entity to the organization. Next is directed supply, means in case where the customer directs the organization to source from a specified supplier, it is still responsible, means actually directed supply means source is already approved by the customer. It is still the responsible of organization to work with supplier to get necessary information to develop control plan. unless otherwise specified in the mutually signed agreement. Means that is Rasik Matrix or Master Purchase Agreement is any. Next requirement is the use software to develop and manage control plans. In actually, we are facing the issues of the uh, develop and manage of control plans. In some cases, the customer may require the use of software, or the organization may initiate the use of software to develop and manage control plan. Use of software actually facilitates version control, that linkage of document, which ensure if changes are made in the document, the change is made to all related document like PFMEA, flowchart, work instructions. That is the software control. Next is in chapter 2, control plan developments. In control plan developments, we need to study about the control plan input, output, what are the requirements of input and output. We go in detail actually. The goal of control plan is to facilitate, communicate with the everyone involved to assure that all required controls are completed on time and full every time. Control plan effective depend on company's leadership commitment to effort required in achieving customer satisfaction. Such control plan is unique. The actual timing and sequence of the execution is depend upon customer needs and expectations and other practical matters. Next is according to the control plan process starts the steps outlined in the APQP manual. For additional detail, see AIAG APQP manual. We need to focus on these terms. Organize the team. Next is define the scope. What are the scope? Means next is team to team means, and next is trainings, and next is customer and organization involvements. What are the relation between timing and coordination between APQP and control plan team? What are the timing and coordinations? Actually, the control plan process team must coordinate with their activity with the APQP process team preliminarily by assuming critical milestone and deliverables. Means what are the milestones and deliverables are aligned with the product quality timing plan as defined in AIAG APQP manual. Means milestones are should be aligned by the APQP and control plan. These are the some terms that actually coordination between APQP and control plan. First is simultaneous engineering, second is concern resolutions, and third one is product quality timing plan, and next one is plans relative to the timing charts. And next is what is the input and output used in control plan. This is very important actually. देखिए फर्स्ट इनपुट इज क्रॉस फंक्शनल और मल्टी-डिसिप्लिन teams. Means the team which has experience, leadership support, list of all suppliers, that is cross functional or multidisciplinary team. Second input is product risk analysis output, that is also uses as input in control plan, like DFMEA, list of product performance, functional characteristics from the design and corresponding testing, dimension requirement, characteristic from engineering drawing, material specification, list of error proving devices, etc. comes in product design analysis. And next input is product risk analysis output, that is that continues. Next is like design for manufacturability, assembly and service, material specification, that is also uses in product risk analysis. Means uses in control plan as a input. Next is product risk analysis output, that is also used in, that is first is product risk analysis output and second is process risk analysis output. What are the process risk analysis output? That also uses in control plan as a input. like PFMEA control, reverse PFMEA analysis, list of error proofing, list of detection control method, repair, rework, reuse, operation identification, that is also. And next input is like operational description, PFD, process flow layout, that also uses in control plan as a input. Tool layout, quality history knowledge, that also uses in input for control plan, that is lesson learned, control plan monitoring, similar process, sister plant, and process evaluations, historical warranty, and quality information also comes in control, means control history knowledge. Next is special characteristic, that also product and process characteristic included in safety and regulatory requirement, that also comes in and uses in control plan as a input. System capability review result, like product, process, quality review, planning, list of gauges, change management process, and means to monitor line operation monitors or process capability, that also comes in system capability review and comes under the as uses as a control plan input. Sampling plan and frequency, like engineering especially if in process test stations included sample size, frequency, acceptance criteria, that is the part. And next is first half, last half part, validation, consideration, protocols for changeover or restart activities, output from product and process validation, that is significant production and measurement system analysis, preliminary process capability, production validation testing, result of pre-launch and safe launch production. That next is reaction plan strategy, that also uses it as a input in control plan. What are the reaction plan strategy? If grouped by the detections and if grouped by X number of defect in a row, both are used in reaction plan strategy. Next is what are the output of that uses in control plan, means what are the output of control plan. Quality planning sign off input. First is what are the output. First is control plan by stage, what is prototype, pre-launch, and production control plan, including safe launch also. Next is process instruction input, that also uses as a output for in control plan. Preliminary process capability study plan input, quality planning sign off input, that also uses as a control plan output. And next is master defect sample, जिसको हम लोग, which is also known as red rapid, and operation trend requirement input to standardize work instructions, form, log, documents, inspection result, that also uses in control plan sign off input and uses as a output of control plan. What next is the output of control plan is control plan benefit to organizations, like allocation of resources, communication concern, reduces waste and cost without scarification, quality, ongoing process capability study result. Next is control plan format. Actually, this is the control plan format which given in AISG control plan manual. In this, first is what is prototype, pre-launch, production, safe launch, and what are control plan number, part name, descriptions, supplier, plant, key contact person names, supplier, plant, approval dates. Like this, we are going to explain one by one each content in this control plan, which are mentioned by numbering. First is the what is the prototype, pre-launch, and production in control plan format detail. First is what is prototype, a descriptions for the dimensional measurement and material performance testing occur during prototypes, means performance testing and dimension measurement occur in prototype build, means prototype launch period. Second is pre-launch, actually a descriptions of the dimensional measurement that and material and performance test that occur after prototype but before normal production, that is called pre-launch control plan. And safe launch enhance containment and control, means in pre-launch period safe launch control plan is also started and ended with in earlier of production control plan. Actually, safe launch is actually enhanced in containments and controls. Third is production type. Production, a comprehensive documentation of product process characteristic and process control. Test and measurement system analysis occur during normal production and safe launch. In this, safe launch enhance containments and controls. Next is safe launch. Actually enhance containment and control put in place in addition to pre-launch control plan or production control plan. If safe launch is being applied as supplemental to pre-launch control plan, we need to check both boxes, pre-launch control plan and safe launch control plan. If the safe launch is being applied as supplemental to production control plan, then we need to check both the production control and safe launch control boxes. Means safe launch boxes and production control boxes. Second is control plan number. In this section, we need to enter control plan document number used for tracking. And third is part number and latest change label, which are mentioned in drawing. That is enter the system, subsystem or component being controlled. When applicable, enter latest engineering change label or issue date from the drawing specification. Next is part name description. They enter the name and descriptions of product process being controlled. Next is supplier plant. Enter the name of company or appropriate division, plant and departments being preparing for control plan. Suppliers code, we need to mention the identification number as requested by the customer. Key contacts, phone and other contact information also need to mention in control plan. Next is supplier plant approval date, we need to also mention. Next is date of origin of control plan. And next is date or revision. Enter the date, means the latest control plan update. And next is customer engineering approval date. That also need to be mentioned if required. Next is customer quality approval date. Obtain the responsible customer supplier quality representative approval if required. Other approval date if required. And what are the part process number? In this section, this item, the number is usually referred from the process flow chart. Actually, part process number, that is step, need to refer from process flow chart. If multiple part number exists, then list the individual part number and their processes accordingly. Next is process name and operation description. All steps in the manufacturing of a system, subsystem or component are described in process flow diagram. Identify the process operation name from process flow diagram. The best describe the activity being addressed. Next is what are the machine jig dividers, jig tools for manufacturing. For each operation, we need to describe, identify the type of process equipment such as machine brand model, fixture type or other relevant description of the manufacturing tool. Next is characteristic number, and assign a cross reference number to all applicable document such as but not limited to process flow diagram, number, blueprint, FMEA and drawing or other visual standard if required. Next is characteristic related to product, like property of a part, component, assembly that describe on drawing or other primarily engineering informations. The core team should identify the special product characteristic should be listed on control plan. In addition, the control plan may list other product characteristics for which process control are routinely tracked during the normal operation. Next is characteristic related to process. Product characteristic are the process variable, input variable that have a cause and effect relation with the identified product characteristic. A process characteristic can only be measured at the time it occurs. The core team should identify process characteristics for which variation must be controlled to minimize product variations. There could be one or more process characteristics listed for each product characteristic. In some processes, one process characteristic may affect several product characteristics. Next is special characteristic. What are the special characteristics of process? Use the appropriate classification required by the customer. See, the customer specific requirement is given to designate the type of special characteristic, or this field can be left blank for other designated characteristic. Customer may be unique symbol to identify important characteristics such as those that affect customer safety, compliance with regulations and form, fit, function, etc. Safety, fit, form, function and government regulatory requirements. Next is methods. What are the method of product process specification and tolerances? Specification or tolerances may be obtained from various engineering documents such as not limited to drawing, design review, material standard, computer aided design data, manufacturing and assembly requirement. Next method is evaluation measurement technique. This column identify the measurement system being used. This could include gauge, fixture, tool or test equipment required to measure the part, process, manufacturing equipment. Next is method, means sample size and frequency. Sample size and sampling is required. The list the corresponding sample size. Sample size must be based upon industry standard statistical sampling plan table or other statistical process or control method or technique. Frequency of check for a specific characteristic should be based on the thought process of effective containment action. If a defect were to escape, visual inspection, equipment failure, etc. comes under the what are the frequency, means the sample frequency when not 100% should be volume based check. Consider method if inspection were versus impact of the organization for robust containment action for such characteristic to determine volume quantity of part run until the next checkpoint. Sampling size should be based on severity and detection mechanism and may determine your finished good inventory. Next is in method, what are the control method? This is the one type of critical element to affect control plan. This column contains a brief descriptions of how the operation will be controlled, including procedure number where applicable. The control method utilized should be based on the effective analysis of process. The control method is determined by the type of process and risk identified during the quality planning. Operation may be controlled by but not limited to statistical process control, inspection, attribute, automated, non-automated, error proofing, etc. Next is reaction plan action. Means what are the reaction plan? In reaction plan, what are the action? What are the ownership are responsible for that reaction, that action? The reaction plan specifies the corrective action necessary to avoid producing non-conforming product or operation out of control. These actions should normally be responsibility of the people closer to the process, the operator, job setter or supervisor, and be clearly designated in the plan. Provision should be made for documenting actions taken. The operator should be responsible for handling defective product as applicable prior to notifying supervisor. The operator should be trained to handle effective material. Training needs should be show evidence of the training for each operator required to handle defects. Next is reaction plan owner are responsible. The reaction plan action must be assigned as owner, as it is recommended to indicate a single position that can be linked to a specific individual, not a shared responsibility. The owner responsible individual is responsible to ensure all activity called by the reaction plan action is carried out actively, including involvement of related individual or department. In reaction plan action, actually that must be include step to contain suspect non-conforming product, stop process from creating more suspect non-conforming product, and step necessary to bring the process back into control prior to releasing back to production. These are also the action of reaction. This is the ownership. We need to identify the ownership of that reaction, that action taken. Okay. Next chapter is control plan phases. That is chapter 3. What are the phases of control plan? That is prototype control plan, pre-launch and production. First is prototype control plan. Prototype control plan are description of the dimension measurement and material and functional test that will occur during prototype build. Next is pre-launch control plan. Pre-launch control plan are descriptions of dimension measurement and material, and as well as functional test will occur after prototype and before initial production launch. I already explained. The pre-launch control plan must include additional product and process control to implement until the functional production process is validated. Purpose of pre-launch control plan is to specify process control, including error proofing, mistake proofing devices and method. Next is specify process and part characteristic data to be controlled and analyzed to determine preliminary process capability. Contains potential non-conformity during or period to initial production run. Next is part and process data required from applicable of pre-launch control plan is used for several to APQP is significant production run, MSC, preliminary process capability study, production validation and testing. In pre-launch control plan, we need to address the safe launch period also. Means customer may require the safe launch to implement during pilot lot and continue into launch. The customer may require a separate safe launch control plan or documentation of additional control as a supplemental to pre-launch control plan. The organization must provide detail of enhanced control containment in customer approval format, that is safe launch period. In diagram we can see after prototype control plan, pre-launch control plan started and safe launch period started during pre-launch control plan and ended early stage of production control plan. Next is production control plan. Actually the production control plan is written description of the system for controlling production part and processes. The start of production will include a safe launch or enhanced containment period to ensure containment of potential non-conformity. The safe launch period typically incorporated added inspection item and increased frequency of check and monitor may include lighter control of specification limit. Consult your customer for a specific requirement related to safe launch. Next is various data sources and lesson learned should be applied to continuously improve the control plan, including but not limited to statistical analysis of data. As a result of applying the production control plan, customer quality reports, warranty data, lesson learned from similar part, and evaluation refined of FMEA for the part and similar part, evaluation refined of process, product, control, technology and method means product best practices. The production control plan is live document actually and should be updated to reflect the additional of the lesson of control based on experience gained by the producing part as described in the list above. Next is chapter 4, that is effective use of control plans. What are the effective use of control plan? That is chapter 4. First is reverse PFMEA. In reverse PFMEA is a document actually continuous important tool designed to find gap or weakness in prevention and detection control. In reverse of PFMEA, we can apply reactive for detection and proactive for prevention. Using software to develop and manage control plan or related document. We whenever is control plan updating, we need to update related document also like FMEA, work instruction, the SOPs, etc. That actually software to develop and manage FMEA control plan and related document are much efficient and effective than paper-based or linked individual electronic file system. Software especially designed for this function is widely available and benefit justified added expenses are purchase or specification. Actually, the scope of software system typically included FMEA and control plan, but may be included ability to develop and maintain linkage to related downstream document such as work instruction and corrective actions. Next is layered process audit and control plan verification. In layered process audit, actually LPS are verification that most important standard and control plan are in place, including organization control plan. LPA verify work is done according to established standard to emphasizing importance of those standards and identify opportunity for continuous improvement. Layered means different level of participants from working level to top management, different perspective and different layers, different levels, different positions, different perspectives, phrases, etc. comes in layered process audit. Like top management participation reinforce importance and commitment in this. LPA is not a control but a verification of control and does not belong in a process control plan. Next is control plan is highly automated processes. The purpose of control plan in highly automated processes is to minimize variation in the process. Highly automated process like semiconductor fabrication have the same goal of minimize variation, but traditional control plan are impractical in such an environment. Next is processes typically have self-adjusted parameter using automated feed forward and feedback loops to keep the process on target. Self-adjusting parameter have hard limit applied by the engineering if the parameters tie to self. Control system FDC fault detection and classification specification etc. Actually, in highly automated process, controls are defined like sample size, frequency, gauge, control limit, reaction plan within automated system. Therefore, try to keep a redundant paper control plan in synchronous with the automated MES system is not feasible. Using family and foundation FMEA. Foundation FMEA also known as generic, wasteless, template, core, master are best practices FMEA. Are FMEA that contains knowledge of the organization from period development which make them useful as a starting point of new FMEA. The foundation FMEA is not program specific, therefore the generalization of requirement, function and method is allowed. In family FMEA, are specified foundation FMEA is also is specified foundation FMEA. It is common to develop product that generally contains common or consistent product boundaries and related functions, or processes which contain a series of operations that produce multiple product or product number. In these cases, it is appropriate to develop family FMEA which cover the communicates for those families. Next is control of storage and handling related risk. Means storage and handling related risk included failure mode such as damage due to improper handling or logistic or use of packaging or conveyance method that do not offer robust protection. Contamination or damage are due to inadequate cleaning or environmental control or cause contamination from storage or handling process method material. Means changes to properties or performance due to inadequate shelf-life control, process element related to receiving material component in process product and finished product storage and handling are sometimes not included in process flow chart, as these tend to focus on value added processing step, actual part manufacturing processes. Next is abnormality management in relation to control plan. What are the abnormalities? Actually, abnormalities in control plan, we need to assume supporting operations, resources and conditions are in normal state. However, several factors can result in abnormal condition in control plan is not set up to mitigate. These abnormal conditions may include absenteeism. Next is line stop and restart mid-process. Next is equipment breakdowns like process shutdown, restart after plant shutdowns due to pandemic, and part shortage and maintenance. Retooling is comes under abnormality management in relation to control plan. In these situations, we assure that all support operation infrastructure facilities are fully restored to normal. Next is Appendix A, means control plan example. These are the examples of control plan. In control plan, methods and requirement listed. NA, if means NA, not applicable. To be documented is not applicable field rather than leaving the blanks. We need to fill NA rather than filling blanks. Next is master part qualifications. And third number is rework, how it appears fit in control plan. Repairs require its own control plan. Next is error proofing or red rabbit confirmation. Sample size, frequency, utilize lot inspections, quantity rather than time base. Next is stand alone example, an example of safe launch control plan. And SPC is acceptance control method. Follow instruction cross XXS means is recommended rather than simply listed a number or reference document. And ninth is owner responsible is who initiate the reaction plan. These are the some control method and requirement. Thank you so much.